There is a voice inside you, subtle yet unyielding, that whispers the truth every day. You are capable of more than the world has dared to imagine. Are you ready to think like a winner before you even win?
Think like a winner before you win. There is a voice inside you, subtle yet unyielding, that whispers the truth every day. You are capable of more than the world has dared to imagine. And yet, you look around at the streets humming with ordinary lives, at people who settle, at dreams that fade like embers in the night, and you feel the weight of doubt pressing against your chest. But the first law of winning, listen closely, is that victory begins long before the applause, long before the contracts, the trophies, the headlines. It begins in the quiet chambers of your mind, where you decide who you will become. Thomas Edison spent 1,000 nights in the dark, every failure a spark, every disappointment a note in the symphony of his triumph. And he succeeded not because the world believed in him, but because he had made a private vow. I will think like a winner before I ever hold the prize. Carnegie himself understood this. Success, influence, achievement, they are born in thought, nurtured in belief, and cultivated in relentless action. To think like a winner is to awaken to the principle that your mind is the kingdom, your thoughts are the seeds, and your actions are the harvest. Every morning, your mind is a blank canvas, yet so often we allow the stains of yesterday to define today. You wake, you scroll, you react, and you drift, not realizing that your destiny is being shaped in these hours, these choices, this very breath. The winner sees differently. The winner knows that the smallest thought, an idea to improve, a resolute to persist, a refusal to surrender, is the first domino in a cascade that can topple empires. To think like a winner is not to dream, it is to commit. To see opportunity where others see obstacles, to feel challenge as the heartbeat of growth, to understand that resistance is the echo of the life you are meant to command. You must start here, clarity. The world does not reward wishful thinking, it rewards precision. Henry Ford did not invent the assembly line because he wanted success. He knew exactly what problem he was solving. He saw clearly the vision others could not imagine, and he refused to let distraction dilute his aim. Winners know their why with the intimacy of a lover's secret. Your mind must be equally intimate with your purpose, because without clarity, all effort is noise. A mind without a mission is like a ship without a rudder, drifting endlessly on seas of indecision. But clarity alone is not enough. Belief is the fuel, and discipline is the engine. Abraham Lincoln stared into the abyss of failure, ridicule, and despair, yet he held a private faith in the vision of a united nation. He understood that belief unbacked by action is illusion, and action without discipline is chaos. Every winner learns to harness the twin currents of conviction and effort, to rise before the world stirs, to labor when others sleep, to continue when comfort whispers seduction. Discipline is not punishment, it is love for your own potential. It is the quiet voice that says, I will shape myself before I shape the world. And here lies the paradox. The path to winning is often invisible. The world measures success by trophies, by salaries, by applause, but the mind of the winner exists in the unseen hours, in the silent decisions that go unnoticed. Walt Disney was told it can't be done more times than most people hear in a lifetime. And yet he persisted, sculpting an empire in imagination first, in reality second. To think like a winner is to live in those invisible hours with courage and ferocity, to build a fortress of thought that will one day become the architecture of achievement. Every thought you allow, every word you speak, every action you take is a brick in the house of your destiny. Winners treat their inner life as sacred, understanding that greatness is not stumbled upon, it is engineered from the inside out. Gratitude becomes the mortar, resilience the foundation, and adaptability the beams that bend without breaking. You cannot control every storm, but you can train your mind to dance in the rain, to see setbacks not as endings, but as feedback, as signposts pointing to the path that only the prepared can tread.
You see, vision is the lighthouse that guides every action, every decision, every sleepless night. Without vision, effort becomes wandering, passion becomes exhaustion, and talent becomes wasted potential. Winners understand this instinctively. They see beyond the horizon of the present, into a future most cannot even imagine, and they move with deliberate steps toward it. Think of Carnegie, shaping minds and lives not through fleeting inspiration, but by a clear vision of influence rooted in human connection. To think like a winner is to visualize victory as already existing. Your mind sketches the blueprint, your hands build the reality. Purpose fuels that vision. It is the unshakable engine that pushes you through boredom, fatigue, and doubt. Henry David Thoreau once wrote, "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined." But confidence is not merely a feeling, it is cultivated through purpose. Purpose sharpens the blurry edges of life. It transforms men and women into architects of their own fate. When you move with purpose, every setback becomes a lesson, every criticism a guidepost, every failure a stepping stone. You no longer run from fear, you run toward what is meaningful, knowing that fulfillment lies not in comfort, but in relentless pursuit of something greater than yourself. Action is the language in which winners speak. Ideas alone are ghosts, intentions alone are whispers. Edison did not simply dream of the light bulb, he built, tested, failed, rebuilt, and tested again. Ford did not wish for the automobile industry to evolve, he acted relentlessly until it bowed to his innovation. To think like a winner is to move before the world believes, to strike before opportunity knocks twice, to labor when others hesitate. Action is not always glamorous, it is not always recognized, but action is the heartbeat of every victory, the proof that your mind has converted thought into reality. And yet, action without reflection is chaos. Discipline alone is rigid, effort without strategy is wasted energy. Winners learn the art of deliberate action. They ask themselves, what is essential? What will move the needle in the direction of my vision? What can I do today that will compound tomorrow? They understand the power of incremental growth, of small victories stacking into monumental triumphs. The mind of a winner is not overwhelmed by the scale of a dream. It is consumed by the pursuit of consistent, intelligent, persistent steps. Gratitude, too, becomes the invisible force that propels the mind. Not gratitude for what is easy, not gratitude for what is convenient, but gratitude for the struggle, the obstacles, the hard lessons that shape character and sharpen resolve. Carnegie understood that influence and human connection grow when we recognize the value in others, when we express appreciation sincerely, when we lift rather than trample. The winner does not dwell in bitterness or envy. The winner finds fuel in every setback, perspective in every failure, and generosity in every success. Gratitude becomes the lens through which the world transforms from a battlefield into a playground of opportunity. Adaptability is another pillar. The world shifts with relentless speed. Technologies evolve, economies collapse, societies transform. Yet winners are never victims of circumstance, they are masters of adjustment. Disney pivoted repeatedly, Edison experimented endlessly, Ford innovated under pressure. To think like a winner is to bend without breaking, to shift without surrendering, to see change as a signal, not a threat. Flexibility does not dilute your vision, it strengthens it. teaching you to navigate complexity while maintaining course toward your ultimate goal. Resilience is the armor. Every champion, every innovator, every leader has faced moments where the world screamed quit. Lincoln faced political exile, Carnegie faced bankruptcy, Oprah Winfrey faced rejection after rejection, and yet the mind that thinks like a winner does not yield. It absorbs the blows, it recalibrates, it rises again. Every setback is a teacher in disguise. Every failure is a rehearsal for success. You begin to see life itself as an arena where character is forged, courage is tested, and greatness is sculpted from the raw material of struggle. And in this crucible of thought, vision, purpose, action, gratitude, adaptability, and resilience, learning becomes your compass. Winners are eternal students of life. They read, they observe, they question. They harvest wisdom from history, from mentors, from the people they meet, and from the mistakes they make. They understand that knowledge alone is useless without application, and that experience alone is hollow without reflection. The mind of a winner is a sponge, soaking in every lesson, every nuance, every insight, transforming it into strategies, solutions, and breakthroughs that others fail to see.
Mastery is not an act. It is a habit, a ritual, a relentless commitment to excellence that creeps into every corner of your life. Winners understand that talent is only the starting point. Skill is forged in repetition, in obsession, in the willingness to outwork, outthink, and outlast everyone around you. Carnegie knew this, though he framed it in human connection. Mastery is not just knowledge, it is the consistent application of knowledge in a way that moves people, changes minds, and creates impact. When you think like a winner, mastery becomes not a goal, but a lifestyle. You do not chase success, you chase growth, and success becomes a byproduct, inevitable and unstoppable. Momentum is the invisible engine of every triumph. Once the mind is aligned, the purpose is clear, and action is disciplined, the small victories compound into a force that cannot be stopped. It is in these moments, the third hour of study when the world sleeps, the 10th attempt at a pitch when rejection has stung, the 100th draft of an idea when doubt lingers, that the invisible current of momentum forms. The winner rides this current, understanding that consistency is not glamorous, but it is mighty. Every step forward builds the next. Every effort reinforces the next. Every success, however small, becomes a cannonball propelling you toward the horizon of your vision. Influence becomes natural when the mind is disciplined, purpose is unwavering, and action is intentional. Carnegie spent his life proving that influence is not coercion, it is understanding, connection, empathy, and clarity of thought. To think like a winner is to recognize that your impact begins within. Every conversation, every gesture, every decision echoes outward. People are drawn to those who carry conviction, to those who live with intention, to those who act as if their destiny is already in motion. Influence is not a skill you learn overnight. It is the reflection of the character you build in the silent hours, the confidence that radiates from competence, and the integrity that underpins every choice. And here is where fear dies. Winners do not live in the absence of fear, they live in spite of it. Thomas Edison faced ridicule, Lincoln faced despair, Ford faced near bankruptcy. And yet they moved anyway. Fear is merely the mind's signal that you are stretching beyond comfort, beyond the familiar, into the space where growth resides. To think like a winner is to redefine fear, not as a barrier, but as a compass pointing to the terrain where your greatest victories await. You do not negotiate with fear, you acknowledge it, respect it, and then act anyway. Now imagine yourself in this life. Every day a canvas, every decision a brushstroke, every thought a color that will define the masterpiece of your destiny. Winners treat life as sacred, not through passive hope, but through active creation.
You see opportunity where others see chaos. You see possibility where others see limits. You see progress where others see setbacks. Your mind becomes the crucible in which raw ambition transforms into refined achievement. This is thinking like a winner, living as if the impossible is already possible, seeing the path when others see only walls, acting as though surrender is not an option. And then comes the most subtle, most powerful realization. Victory begins not in the world, but within. All the accolades, all the wealth, all the recognition are reflections of the inner work you have done long before the world notices. Carnegie understood this. He spent decades refining human behavior, proving that the seeds of influence, success, and fulfillment are sown within. You cannot control external circumstances, but you can control your thoughts, your decisions, your discipline, your vision, your resilience, and your gratitude. Build the inner kingdom, and the outer world must bow to it. Every morning becomes a rehearsal for triumph. Every choice is an affirmation of your belief in yourself. Every failure becomes a teacher. Every challenge a proving ground. Every doubt a signal to dig deeper. The mind of a winner is relentless, unyielding, and precise. It does not wait for permission. It does not seek validation. It does not fear judgment. It acts, it learns, it persists, and it transforms. You are not merely reacting to life. You are designing it, commanding it, shaping it with the authority of conviction and the patience of mastery. And finally, when all these forces converge, clarity, belief, discipline, vision, purpose, action, gratitude, adaptability, resilience, learning, mastery, momentum, influence, and fearlessness, you arrive at a singular truth. Winners are not born, they are engineered. They are forged from thought, tested in action, tempered in adversity, and polished by reflection. The crown of success is invisible until it appears in reality, but the mind that thinks like a winner carries it long before the world can see it.
And now, hear this. The moment you begin to think like a winner, the world changes. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. You begin to see doors where there were only walls, opportunities where there were only obstacles, allies where there were only strangers. You realize that the limitations others accept are illusions. The boundaries drawn by fear and conformity are optional. And the life you have always imagined is not a dream, it is a design waiting for your hand to trace it. To think like a winner before you win is to claim power over your own narrative, to refuse to be defined by circumstance, and to step into the role you were born to play. Every great figure in history, Edison, Lincoln, Ford, Carnegie, Disney, Oprah, they all understood this invisible law. Success does not arrive in a parade, it arrives quietly, in the hours you give to preparation, in the thoughts you choose, in the courage you summon when no one is watching. To think like a winner is to recognize that life does not hand out glory, it is earned in the crucible of persistence, refined in the furnace of challenge, and polished in the quiet discipline of belief. Every step you take today is a stone laid in the monument of your future. Every decision is a brushstroke painting the portrait of your destiny. Every thought is a seed that, when nourished with action, will grow into the reality you desire. And make no mistake, the journey will demand everything of you. It will test your patience, your courage, your faith, and your resilience. There will be nights when doubt whispers that you are not enough, days when failure seems permanent, and moments when the world appears to conspire against you. But the mind of a winner is unshakable. It sees failure not as defeat, but as data. It sees resistance not as a wall, but as a challenge to rise higher. It sees adversity not as punishment, but as fuel for greatness. You learn to dance with discomfort, to embrace uncertainty, and to march forward with a conviction that cannot be eroded by opinion, circumstance, or fear. Think of yourself as a sculptor. Your life is the marble, your choices are the chisel, and your mind is the hammer.
Every thought, every action, every habit chips away at mediocrity, revealing the masterpiece that has always existed beneath the surface. The winner does not wait for permission, does not bow to doubt, and does not surrender to delay. The winner works while others sleep, learns while others stagnate, and persists while others quit. And in this relentless forging of self, in this deliberate shaping of destiny, the invisible crown appears, not as an ornament, but as the undeniable truth of a life mastered, a mind awakened, and a soul unyielding. Now, take a deep breath and feel it. The power to win begins inside you. It begins in the thoughts you choose, the beliefs you hold, the clarity you maintain, the discipline you honor, and the action you take. Winners do not wait for life to hand them success. They design it, engineer it, fight for it, and claim it. You are not a passenger in your own story. You are the architect, the hero, the commander of your fate. The world is vast, unpredictable, and often cruel, but within you lies a force far greater than circumstance. So rise. Rise with the certainty that your mind is a battlefield and a kingdom at all once. Rise with the understanding that every moment spent refining thought, shaping character, and pursuing purpose compounds into unstoppable power. Rise knowing that you carry within yourself the same potential that built empires, sparked revolutions, and changed history. Every second is an opportunity to think like a winner before you win, to see the future, seize the present, and sculpt your destiny with precision and courage. And when you do this, when you live your life as if victory is already yours, when you act with clarity, purpose, and relentless action, you will look back one day and realize that the world never gave you anything. You built it. You earned it. You claimed it. And in that moment, the truth will be undeniable. Winners are not born, they are made, thought by thought, decision by decision, day by day. The crown was in your mind long before it appeared on your head. So think like a winner, act like a winner, live like a winner. Before the applause, before the trophies, before the world even notices, you will already have won, because you have mastered the most important victory of all, mastery over yourself. And that, my friend, is the beginning of everything.
This channel isn't for everyone. It's for those who choose discipline over excuses.